GMGM. Trade of the day, I'm actually looking at Ethereum here. I want to see the aggregated chart though. So we go over here, look at it. I want to see since this breakdown. So since Ethereum broke down into this bottoming range that it's in and then broke out from it, which is over there, I want to look at the volume distribution. So why does this matter? This is from Friday morning. We spent Friday trading down there, and then we've consolidated throughout Friday and Saturday, going into Sunday. So for Ethereum, post ETF approval, obviously we got the big wick down before the approval, then we got the approval itself. So that's our broad trading range for ETH, right? The low of the ETF move, the high of the ETF approval. Those are the two liquidity levels that it will first target. So your only question is which one's first. And if the first one has been tried, like it did, right? It first tried to go lower, and then it tried again, and currently it's failing. Then you're looking at it to go to 3,900. So I think there's a really nice day trade setting up here, potentially. So what I'm looking at is from it did the low to the high, then it consolidated. This is basically how positions built up after the ETF, okay? You're looking at this right now. So remember, on Thursday, we had the fake news, or not fake news, sorry, it wasn't fake news. We had the sudden dump as algos triggered or whatever. Ethereum flushed down. It then rallied all the way up. The approval came, it pumped higher. Then, so this was when the approval happened. We got the approval, Ethereum ETF, let's go. Then, price consolidated for about 12 hours, roughly, or a bit less, 8 or 9 hours. And this is where people would have been betting either way. Some people getting long, some people getting short, everyone building up positions. And then on Friday, it broke and we saw which side was offside initially, right? Initially, too many people had got long. After the approval, it went down and then it's consolidated. So it flushed out anybody with too much leverage, pushed down into the lows here, tried to go lower and couldn't. So to me, that's a failed attempt to go for the 35.16 liquidity. Now, if it's going to go for the higher end, now tackle the stops of anyone who shorted post ETF approval, that's the obvious area. Of course, beyond that, you've got 4,000 and you've got, a bullish market just in general. I think ETH goes up and clearly the market is in a bullish setup with all the political stuff that's going on. But as for an actual trade, how do we time an entry for this? I look at this. You pick your trading range. For me, it was from the breakdown and the consolidation. For us to break back out of that, where has the volume been distributed? There. So using volume profile, as you've seen, volume profile lesson coming very soon as well. The simple way of looking at it is, this was in balance, right? Everything in here is in balance. And markets in balance, you can view them as being in a range or a consolidation, okay? Even if it's consolidating at the highs, it doesn't matter. It's in an area which is balanced. Until that area breaks, it could reject. And you can see this here. It tried to get out of it, failed. Tried to get out of it, failed. Even tried again, but kept coming back in. And there was support, strong support below. And now it has clearly, cleanly broken out of it with an hourly close and actually a 4-hour close, because this is the 8 a.m. UTC candle. Volume on it is okay. I mean, it's a weekend, so you have to zoom in and look at the volume in isolation. For the weekend, it's good volume. Right, let me put on the moving average so you can see it. For the weekend itself, it's good volume, right? Obviously, compared to the ETF candle, it's nothing. But when you zoom in and look at Friday, into Saturday, into Sunday, decent volume. And of course, I expect front running happening as people look ahead to next week and beyond and think that crypto is going to be bullish. So, what are we looking at here? Value area high. So the top of this blue box is where I would expect to see Ethereum not go below. So it can come all the way back down to here. And as long as it holds there, and if it does something like that, what are you seeing then? You're seeing price building value at a new level. It is a very simple higher consolidation, right? It's a higher low. It might not do that though. The breakout could be valid. So what you're looking at then is if I think it won't go, it could come back as far as here, and it could touch that and still be valid, and it could hold there and still go up, right? This is how you're starting to frame a trade in the way you should, which is, where am I wrong? I consider being long here. If you're long, I would consider it wrong from a day trade perspective if Ethereum starts to close at about 37.50. So if it actually comes back into that value area, what I would expect to see is not this path. I would expect to see price then move in here, reject off the high of it, and push to the other side. Because it's like it falling back into range. That's what the point of a volume profile is. If it falls back in there, it's the equivalent of it falling back into a range. Now it could just dip into it briefly and jump back out. But again, you're not trading for every single possible eventuality. You're looking at it and saying, where can I draw an invalidation? An invalidation for me is falling back into that range. You might look at the point of control. I don't. I look at it and say, Ethereum tried to break out once, twice, 3 times, 4 times from the value area and finally broke out. So that's valid to me. 4-hour close, etc. Now, it has pushed up into the breakdown level. So the cluster of supply from the breakdown on Friday is where it's finding resistance. That's a natural place to find resistance. So it's normal that it would find resistance there and pull back. What you want to see is significant consolidation. I don't think it will go to the value area low, or value area high, sorry. I think if it consolidates here, okay, and then you see a BOS, you would consider that as valid. That means it's had the value area, it's broken out from it, it's consolidated above it without retesting it, and then it breaks higher again. And at that point, I would play a continuation, because if it breaks to that level, I would expect probably a quick move to the liquidity. Right? You would break out, your stop would go below whatever the swing low was built, and you would trade it towards that level. That would be how I'd be looking at it. Of course, you could then, compound it or tighten your entry up or whatever if you want to get a better position. Doesn't matter. That'd be one path. Would be the red path, where it consolidates above, doesn't go back in. Second path would be where it actually does sell off to the value area, holds the value area, and then moves up. Right? That's basically the same thing. Comes back to the value area, wait for it to hit, wait for it to hold. And the entry where you're looking to enter on that one, so you've got the red circle there, where you'd be looking to enter on this one is not on the way down. It would be as soon as the price is starting to move back up. Remember, right side of the V. If it moves down, you want to wait until it's earliest sign of it moving up. That might happen very quickly. That might happen slowly. Doesn't matter. If you get a test into that area and it holds, you then enter a long. And you get your long there because you know your stop loss can go in the value area where it should not reach, and your target would be liquidity above. So there's a couple of trades. That's how I play Ethereum if it gets a setup. If it doesn't matter. Higher time frame, spot positions, swing longs, all that's still in play. This is more of the day trade, low time frame that we're looking at. And this is the path, by the way. If I need to drag down the screen from my other trading view. This is the path I talked about. Remember the other day? Short-term path to 4K if the 4-hour bands hold. So the black squiggle following the blue line. It was holding the 4-hour bands, yes. Short-term path to 4,000, yes. Or 4,000 area. And it looks like it's going to go there. So maybe it just pumps straight up there. Maybe we get a retest. We'll see. And that's it. GM.